Marion County Quorum Court meeting December 12th, 2023 now in session. Please stand for prayer. Remain standing for the pledge of allegiance. Lord, as we come to the end of our first year with some new administrations, some new elected officials and JPs, Lord, I thank you for this team of JPs and elected officials that you've given us. The work they put in this year to get us to where we're at today is just a lot of hard work, a lot of things done behind after hours, just getting things done. And we appreciate it so much here in the county. As we come to this season, not to be cliche, but the reason for the season, let's keep Jesus first as we go through Christmas. Give us the strength and the faith of Joseph to stand by his wife, even though that was not his child. Give us the love, and I would say the pureness of Mary that we can't even comprehend, to be able to carry the child of the Lord, and that just honor bestowed upon her, Lord. And I just ask that we forever be grateful that the Son of God was allowed to become the Son of Man, so that the sons and daughters of men can become the sons and daughters of God. In the powerful name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Justice. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to recognize our new Justice of the Peace for District 9, Justice Miles Welling. He was appointed by Governor Sanders earlier this month, and I just wanted to welcome him here and introduce him to you all. All right, the minutes. Motion to accept the minutes.
Motion.
Now a second.
Second.
I got a motion and a second to accept. Any corrections or additions? All those for?
Aye.
Against? Treasurer's report.
Total balance of all funds as of November 30th, $11,159,707. That's about an 11% change over 2022. County General was quite a bit more. It was a 63% change there. We've got $2,591,490 there now. Road Department's up 15% overall, 2.259 million. Total balance of all funds as of today is $11,087,768. Sales tax revenue, now this is the October collections dispersed to county in November. We were down 1.32% for the 1% sales and use tax, the quarter jail maintenance, 4% jail maintenance, and the 0.5% jail bond. Year to date, we are up 1.55%, but we have been down a little bit the last 3 months. So basically, we're just kind of settling out to year end almost even, a little ahead. Any questions?
All right, thank you. Sheriff's report.
Detention center ended the month with 37 inmates. 20 of them belonged to Marion County. 20 of them were male. 4 females belonged to Marion County. 309s, we had 2. DOC inmates, we only had 7. We had 3 DOC female inmates, and then we housed 1 from another county. We just had a total of 46 bookings for the month, which we were down a little. Circuit court collections, we had $16,221 that was collected. Circuit court restitution, we were able to collect $4,197.09. District court collections was $5,967.67 or 63 cents. Total warrants were issued was 46. Total issued by agency, the Marion County District Court issued 24. The Circuit Court issued 12. The City of Flippin issued 2, and the City of Yellville issued 8. Total number of hours for a bailiff this past month was 78. He was in court 78 hours, that's right. We've had an increase in sex offenders that have moved into Marion County. Looks like we're up to 81. We've only had 18 updates for the month. What it means, we've had 18 people come in and had the pictures taken and updated the files where they're trying to make sure they still live where they're supposed to be. The profit from the commissary account in the jail was $1,283.49. Number of meals served was 3,015. Total cost of the meals were 3,910, with an average cost per meal hanging at that $1.30 range. Looks like we spent a total of $6,616.82 on drugs and medicine for the inmates that we're housing. Department of Corrections reimbursed us $14,740. The deputy drove approximately a total of 23,406 miles this month. Used approximately 1,615 gallons of fuel. And the cost per fuel, we have gone to the WEX card, and it has dropped the cost of it down substantially. We have not bought anything else from TriStar yet, so now they're supposed to be getting their numbers together and get them to us. TriStar, the last deal we got was $1.60, I believe. For the Metro Division, we drove 4,287 miles, used approximately 271 gallons, and the cost of the fuel for the Metro was $714.06. The CID conducted 41 interviews this month. We arrested 1 person and 1 felony charge, and opened 4 other felony investigations. That's all right. Thank you again for all your time.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for any other reports submitted? All right, Planning Commission.
Nothing to report at this time.
Thank you, sir. Budget Committee.
We have had, over the past 3 months, 12 meetings with various departments. And we should be able to get something going here in a little bit.
All right. I don't believe the personnel, law enforcement, solid waste, and procedures management back, correct? All right. Any old business? Okay. Clerk Moffitt.
May I have a motion to read by title only, please? All in favor? All against? Thank you. Okay, the first ordinance is 2023-141. It is amending the annual operating budget to transfer unappropriated funds from 1801 city tax road department to 2000 road department in the amount of $116,029.82. And it's to cover the anticipated expenses budgeted in the road department. Till the end of the year,
For the budget for next year.
budget for next year. Got it.
Motion. Second.
Move to amend.
And who seconded that? Robert?
I have a motion to amend.
Like that? Does it get a second?
I'll second.
Are we discussing?
I need to know what you're amending.
The number 116,029 was a fairly number, and there were revenue projections after that number was established. The actual number should be amended to 146,029.
Did you say 146, sir?
Yes, sir, 029.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay, on the motion to amend, Justice Sturma,
We're amending from the road department into,
we're amending the amount from 116 to 146.
from the road department into the road department sales tax.
It's going from sales tax road department into road department,
Okay. Yes.
okay? Justice Nichols?
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren?
Yes.
Justice White?
Yes.
Justice Reed?
Yes.
Justice Hutchings?
Yes.
Justice Shipman?
Yes.
Justice Brigham?
Yes.
Justice Williams?
Yes.
Willen, I'll get it, I'm sorry.
What was the number on that?
That's 141. Okay. Motion to adopt. Justice Nichols?
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren?
Yes.
Justice White?
Yes.
Justice Reed?
Yes.
Justice Hutchings?
Yes.
Justice Shipman? Justice Brigham?
Yes.
Justice Welland?
Yes.
Justice Scrimmler?
Yes.
Motion passed. Ordinance 2023-142. This is the budget for the year 2024.
Motion to adopt as presented.
No, because that is not going to be correct. What's incorrect, what is correct is going to be in your book. And that's what's going to be passed to. I need a second.
Second.
We have a second, so we'll open it up to discussion. And I believe that we have 5 speakers here this evening that have been sponsored by JPs to speak. You'll be allotted 5 minutes apiece. If there's a rebuttal from the JPs, you'll be given more time after that. I believe Susie McVeigh will be our first speaker.
And if I may say, I'm keeping the time. And my timer will go off at 4 minutes and 30 seconds, so you know, okay? Sorry, if I change it on me. It's been like 2 hours, that's not gonna work out.
Thank you. Again, my name is Susan McVeigh. I appreciate you allowing me to address the court. The University of Arkansas gives an overview of Arkansas County government structures and responsibilities. It states, the Quorum Court is the legislative body of county government and is considered the voice of the people. Thank you for allowing me to address the court and hearing my voice regarding this budget ordinance. I want to ask that you would respectfully listen and consider what I have to say. I want to let you know that I'm not running a campaign for or against anyone. First, I would like to address the budget regarding the library. Several conversations that I have had with JPs lead me to believe that they are basing their decision on whether the library director should have a raise on conditions that are not within their jurisdiction to decide. Indirect actions should not circumvent constitutional limitations. When the legislature or the Quorum Court attempts to achieve what is forbidden directly by imposing conditions or line item appropriations, it violates the spirit of the law. This is what I believe happened at the November 16th Budget Committee meeting relating to the library budget. The library director presented the budget for the library. There was discussion. A few people were allowed to speak. And then quite suddenly there was a motion to accept the budget, but only with an amendment made to keep the director's salary as it was in 2023. Many people were in the room and wanted to speak, but were not allowed. The Quorum Court plays a crucial oversight role, but they must strike a balance. The Quorum Court approves budgets, but it must respect the library board's autonomy. It must avoid micromanaging operational decisions. The court should not use appropriations or conditions to indirectly undermine the board's authority. At the budget meeting, a person, as well as a justice of the peace, brought up library hours of operation and even asked about signage for the library. Again, this seems like conditions are being put in place to somehow justify the raise. Actually, I believe the library was open on Saturdays for quite some time during 2021 and 2022. The same years a raise was denied by the Quorum Court, ironically. The Quorum Court cannot indirectly achieve what it is impermissible to do directly. This principle aligns with the separation of powers doctrine. The Library Administrative Board relies on stable funding and competitive salaries to attract and retain qualified personnel. By limiting salary raises, the Quorum Court indirectly affects the ability of the library board to recruit and retain skilled professionals. It undermines their administrative authority by restricting their capacity to manage personnel matters effectively. Salary decisions directly impact the quality of services provided by our library. The administrative board needs flexibility to adjust salaries based on market conditions or Class 2 county comparisons, such as Marion County, and employee performance and length of service. When setting budgets or allocating funds, the Quorum Court must be mindful not to attach conditions that infringe upon the administrative authority of the library board. While oversight is essential, it should not unduly interfere with the day-to-day operations. At the meeting, the library board president presented justification for the raise of the library director. His request was denied. I believe this past year has been awful for county offices who have had to go before committee meetings and Quorum Court begging for raises. Most of the meetings have been argumentative and unfruitful. Finally, I believe from a conversation with the JP that other county employees have either received a raise in 2023, and if not, will receive one in 2024, with the exception of one employee, Dana Scott, the library director. This will be the third year she has been awarded a raise by the library board, but denied the raise by the Quorum court. I believe that she is being discriminated against and that this is an abuse of the separation of powers doctrine. I have contacted the Arkansas Ethics Commission, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, and our local state representative regarding this injustice. I am asking that the Quorum Court would do the right thing and reinstate the library budget that was submitted to the committee with the raise for the library director. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. Ms. Cassandra Biter.
Seems there's gonna be a theme tonight. Good evening. Courage is defined as quality of mind or spirit that enables a person to face a difficult or danger without fear. As a citizen, it's our First Amendment right to grievance you all without fear of retaliation. But it takes courage to do that knowing it may happen again because it having been already. The old saying is to never judge a book by its cover. So I'm going to tell you about a few of my life's pages. Prior to my accident in 2015 that left me disabled, I was a community organizer. I interned for former Governor Mike Huckabee. I've held meetings with senators, congressmen, mayors, quorums, top seats at the state health department and the ADEQ, and offices from the former AG Leslie Rutledge Johnson and Governor Asa Hutchinson, the EPA and the FBI. They don't always like what I had to say or how I had to say it, but it was always in getting to the truth. Then I was fighting for an entire community. And now I'm fighting for myself. There I had a long history with officials, and here I have none. I don't ask questions or make statements just for the sake of it, but I do it for the rule of policy and procedure and the checks and balances of power, so it not to be abused. I have an official grievance today with you all that is taking place. I have safety concerns for myself as well as officers who visited my home on official business, yet there's no dispatch record of them. That vest cam recordings were not videoed or deleted. I have an issue that a city official can drag a county into a federal rights investigation with one phone call. That call was to violate my state right under Arkansas Constitution Amendment 79 to homestead through the county tax office, to deny and defame my character on public record when the issue had not yet proceeded through the judicial legal system. No one just bends or breaks one rule. After assessing my property at nearly 3 times its previous value, denying my homestead, I couldn't pay my taxes on time. Yet state law says that the assessor is to publish it in the paper, and yet I and others have yet to find my name listed. I, for one, do not believe in coincidences. I can't say what JP stated back in July, that not following policy and procedure will eventually catch up. But I can say I will see my end to the end. And Judge, I did ask you about procedure when it came to environmental issues. So I wanted to inform you that I filed a complaint tonight with the ADEQ. On my way to this meeting, the home that previously burned at 800 Wickersham on Thanksgiving, but there are individuals there tonight burning that material again. If you can imagine what it's like to only breathe with one lung, imagine breathing in that air pollution 2 blocks away. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Mrs. Amy Brown.
I am a trustee of the library, one of the board members. I have been for 7 years. The library board directs the library director to use her administrative, financial, professional, and personal management skills to organize, direct, evaluate, and review the library's resources, personnel, the facilities, the services, and the programs to respond to the needs of our county. Every year, the board evaluates the director's performance in a closed executive meeting, reviewing those things that she has been directed to do by the board. With this information, we as the board of directors reward her work with a raise paid for by the library fund, not the county general fund. She is our employee. We hired her and set her salary. Because of the Quorum Court's refusal to approve the salary increases, our library's director's salary compared to other Class II county libraries is substandard. She has brought much to Marion County Library in the 6+ years she has been employed by us. Checkouts, program participation, ebooks, new library cards have markedly increased since she has been our director. Quorum Court has denied her raises given to her by the library board, and this is the 3rd year she's been denied that. With the almost 7 years of service to the Marion County Library and the improvements and successes that have already been stated, we believe Dana Scott, the library director, has earned her raise approved by the board. Noting again that her salary does not come from the county general fund and in no way affects any of your county funds. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kurt Bryant.
Ready?
I think so. Okay, I'm Kurt Bryant, and I'm the president of the library board right now, and I've been on the board for several years. I think, I don't know, this is my 10th year, I think, and I'm stepping down. But I'd like to share some information, and this is a letter that was sent to all the people in Marion County, okay? The Marion County Library Board is writing to address questions about library government and the library's operating budget. As an administrative library board, we set the salary for the library director. And once we decide on a salary for that year, it is added to the library budget and turned over to the Quorum Court for review. This is the 3rd straight year the Justices of the Peace have changed the board-approved budget for the library, including not granting the salary increase. We had approved for the library director. The Attorney General's opinion of 93-275, the Quorum Court's power to set salaries and appropriate the library funds cannot impermissibly infringe upon the library board's administrative authority. Now, our library board director, or our library director is, we base her salary on many things. One is an excellent yearly evaluation. We have seen a lot of growth in the library usage and getting things out to people and from all age groups, from the children all the way up through us seniors. And a compensation compared to other library directors with the same experience in other Class II county libraries. We're a Class II county library.
The library board understands that elected positions throughout Marion County have been or will be brought up to Class 2 wage standards, with the library director who is currently making $13,000 less than the Class 2 library directors in the state, is being denied the salary increase by the Justice of the Peace sitting as a budget committee for Quorum Court. The fact she does not take insurance, which is currently saving the library $4,200 annually. Now, the Marion County Library receives over $40,000 from the state each year for having a library director with her master's degree and having an administrative library board in place. If either of those things were to change, we would forfeit state aid that would then be distributed to other public libraries other than Marion County in compliance with the regulations. The library receives no funding from county general fund, and the funds the library uses to pay salaries do not affect anyone's salaries in the county. Funding for the library comes from a dedicated millage and may not be used for anything other than the library. Attorney General's opinion 9319, the Quorum Court's refusal to accept the salaries as submitted by the library board may, however, unconstitutionally infringe upon the library board's authority. If the library board were to be changed to an advisory board, the library's fund balance would not be dispersed to other departments. It would continue to be held for the library. Now, the Attorney General's opinion, 9319, says the proceeds of any tax levied for the maintenance of the county library can only be used for that purpose. Okay, we contacted, or Dana, our director, contacted the manager of the library development in Arkansas, and she sent this letter, which I think is very appropriate for this. This letter is to follow up on our discussion about administration of the Marion County Library. During state fiscal year 2024, the Marion County Library has been awarded $43,932. That's for the 2024 year in state aid from the Arkansas State Library. To be eligible for state aid, public libraries in the state of Arkansas must comply with the standards for the state aid to be public libraries authorized by Act 489 and Acts of Arkansas in 1979. The standards require the governance of a public library by a legally constituted administrative board of trustees that establishes policies, conducts regularly scheduled meetings, and functions with recorded bylaws. Additionally, libraries participating in the state aid program must be administered by a qualified librarian, which has a master's degree in library science awarded through a program accredited by the American Library Association, recognized in the minimum qualifying.
Thank you very much for that, sir. I appreciate that, but I allotted 5 minutes to the ones before you, and you were at your 5-minute mark.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry to take so
No,
long.
I appreciate your input, sir. Thank you very much. Olivia Angelina.
Good evening, Judge Scott, and the justices and ladies and gentlemen. I first want to say thank you for what you do for our community. I appreciate the time that you take to make our community better. I'm speaking for the library. I am not eloquent with the law. I am a registered nurse, and currently I'm out because during a code we ran into each other and carts went flying, and I'm still not walking right just yet. So I want to talk about our library. Our library isn't like a library in a school system. Our library is to serve the community, which is what it's there for. Our library does so much. My first time in our library, I walked in and I was like, wow. I had 2 people come and greet me. Hi, I've never seen you before. How are you today? And I was like, that's a big deal for me. Somebody saw me, asked how I was doing. What I was doing at the time was looking for a job that I could do where I wouldn't have to get on my feet 12 hours. And my computer died at home. And you can do just so much on a smartphone. They helped me get signed on, showed me what their computer system could do. We have people that know how to navigate that system, that can help you get to where you need to go, and you can fax there. You can copy there. We pay for it, a small fee, but they're there. They're there for us. They're there for the community that needs them. And these people are skilled. I can't get into the issue of politics regarding the director. I choose not to, because what I'm here for is to tell you, you have a gem in this library. You have competent people. They are up to date. They know what they're talking about. They are always there. And every time my understanding is that there was a question regarding attendance by the director. Every time I've been there, and I go there all different hours, these 3 times a week, I usually get a book and I go to the Loom class. I've met people. We play some games over the summer. It was wonderful. It was full of parents and kids getting stuff from the programs that these young ladies run, so the children can read, make reading exciting. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. But the way I see it is, we keep looking at money, but money is more, there's more to an asset than money. These people are an asset. The programs they run there are an asset. I look forward to going there. I've met some wonderful people. I encourage people. I got to read at the square that we had on the square in Yellville. And the kids were just around us. We gave them a teddy bear to hang on to. We read to them. We had a brother and sister. I guess they were 7 and 9. They told us they couldn't read. And the books we gave them, they came back. They were kind and waited. And they said, we don't have anybody to read us these books. Will you read them to us? And we did. And it was a wonderful time. I guess I just want to tell them in the library, they're doing wonderful things for this community. And I don't know, like everybody here seems to know pays and all of that. I don't know what that is. What I do know is in monetary assets, you've got assets. You've got a lot of assets there. And if they don't know the data you need, they'll find somebody that does. They can tell you where to go do things. And I know that's my 30 seconds, so I'll be quiet. I tried to be. I was just looking to be truthful and respectful, and that's all. And I thank you for your time, and I thank you for what you do for our community.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, we've had discussion. Is there any further discussion? If not, we're going to take the,
I'd like to question if Justice Reed is ready with his presentation of that.
If the court would like that, I will.
Okay.
As part of the discussion, I have a summary of the budget.
I'm sorry?
As a part of discussion, I have a summary of the budget. If you want me to do that?
Showtime. Sir? Showtime.
Showtime. Sure. Okay. Okay, let me get on there. Excuse me.
You sure make the liabilities for somebody new.
The budget committee met, with 63 departmental budgets. Of the 64 proposed budgets, only the fairground budget was not sponsored. Of the 64 proposed budgets, 19 were reconsidered for additional information. 62 of the proposed budgets were accepted as written or amended, including Fund 3088 Library State Aid was referred to the Library Board. Fund 3008 County Library, with exception of employee compensation, was referred to the Library Board. The fairground budget was set to the previous year amounts, and elections are to be reconsidered after the March primary. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. 2024 revenue by the Treasurer's Office was deemed very conservative due to what was believed to be somewhat unreliable historical data for projections. The recommendation to review the budget after the second quarter, but before the FY25, that's my opinion. That was not come from the committee, but I believe it's prudent to review this budget again at the end of the second quarter, because it becomes a baseline for the FY25 budget. Sales and use tax distribution for the 1800 series is still under consideration. Judge, would you like to address that? You've met with some of the fire department chiefs.
Correct, and I'm giving the chiefs and their boards a lot of time into January to see how that works for them, and then we'll come back to the table of the budget committee meeting. Yes.
There is some consideration for redistribution of that sales tax, but nothing has been submitted to the court yet. Overall, the proposed appropriations was 11.9 million. The revenue was 8.3 million, 8.4. Carryover was 9.1 for a total of 17.5 million. And as appropriate, the 10% holdback, it became 16.2 million. Unappropriated for the entire budget is 4.33 million, 4.263 million. Okay, proposed county general obligations was a center of topic. The Fund 1000 is subject to obligations in two categories. One, appropriations, the proposed budgets that the total was 2.1 million. The shortfalls from other departments that we proposed that county general cover came to about 1.55 million, and they included these four. Sales tax law enforcement with a shortfall of 866,000. County detention with a shortfall of 335,000. Marion 911 with a shortfall of 206,000. And the roads with a shortfall of 46,000, which we have corrected already by ordinance tonight.
146.
Yeah, 146. Yeah. General accounting for county general was projected revenue was 2.4 million. Carryover was about 2.8 million. Total revenue was 5.3 million, with a $529,721 10% holdback, making an available appropriation for county general at 4.767 million. The total of all of the proposed budgets we listed as appropriation came to 2.143 million. The total of shortfalls, as we just covered, is 1.554 million. That number is less by 146,000 from the ordinance we passed tonight. Total appropriations is 3.7 million. Unappropriated for county general now exists at 1.215 million, not the first number, because we passed that ordinance. Any questions at this point? I'm going pretty fast. Good, because I don't have answers. Sales tax law enforcement, proposed appropriations was 1.158 million. Projected revenue was 324,250. Carryover, none. 10% holdback, 32,000. Available revenue was 291,000, which leaves a deficit of 866,363. County detention, the proposed appropriation was 1.465 million. Projected revenue was 745,250. Carryover 510,000. Total revenue was 1.255, and with 125,525, 10% holdback. Available revenue then became 1.129 million, with a deficit from proposed appropriations of 335,811. Sales tax fire departments. This one's a little iffy because we had a lot of discussion about the distribution of sales tax and the fairness in the distribution to the fire department. Mike Sherman was very, very helpful in that regard. But the current appropriation is of 217,000 with projected revenue of 191. Now, I didn't list a carryover there because we don't know exactly what the revenue is going to be if we change that. If we change that distribution, but the available revenue I think is 191,000. There has been a procedural change on how we disperse this fund. And with your permission, I'd like the treasurer to address that and help the court understand that procedural change.
There's been a procedural change?
Yes, sir. Well, there will be. I don't know that. Have you started that yet?
Yeah, it started last quarter.
Would you mind addressing the court and explaining that procedural change?
Oh, and how they're paid. Okay.
Sir?
How their checks being distributed.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
How
yes.
it's being dispersed.
Yes, all right.
So last quarter, we started a new change. Instead of the quarterly sales tax checks to the fire departments going through the AP process, at the end of accounts payable, sorry. It's going to go through the treasurer's office instead. So at the end of each quarter, we will run a report and divide it equally amongst all the fire departments and then process it out by checks. I believe a couple of budget meetings ago, we talked about only budgeting $15,000 for that fund because with there not being claims produced, if we were to put money in those line items on the budget side, that money would just sit over there since we are doing this procedure change. Now, the $15,000 that they're putting for the budget is towards insurance and I believe workman's comp. Moving forward, the plan is not to have any carryover at the end of each year so that we can have it at a zero balance and starting fresh for the next year. So the plan is this year, no carryover, starting fresh for 2024. At the end of first quarter, we'll process the checks out of our office, and this will also ensure that they'll get their checks timely.
Thank you very much.
911, the proposed appropriation was 571,411 with a projected revenue of 352,000 and carryover 53,000 for a total revenue of 405,000, 40,539 for holdback, giving an available revenue of 364,000 with a shortfall of 206,557. Again, that was listed as covered by County General. Roads 2000, the proposed appropriation was 3.1 million. Projected revenue was 2.079 million. Carryover 1.25 million. Total revenue with those two are 3.3 million, and with a 332,839, 10% holdback, making the available revenue at 2.995 million. That's a shortfall of 146,026.9 that we corrected tonight by ordinance. So there is no shortfall in roads 2,000 at this, once that ordinance is implemented. Road 1801 is a little bit awkward in your budget books. So this is primarily data from the Treasury. The appropriation was what was submitted to the Budget Committee at 462,000. The Treasurer says the projected revenue is 665 with a carryover 955,000 with a total revenue of 1.62 million. That's a 10% holdback to 162,075. Available revenue, the important number is 1.458 thousand. Unappropriated in the roads 1801 is the bottom number, 850,612. That's the 149,000 subtracted from the 996,000. So their roads 1801 unappropriated is 850,612. Special funds, these are just pretty much totals. The list of special funds in your book added up to 1.56 million with a projected revenue of 1.071 million, carryover 1.5 million, total revenue 4 million. Special funds does not have a 10% holdback. Available revenue, of course, then becomes 4.007 million with unappropriated. What's left out of special funds once the proposed appropriations are accounted for is 2.449 million. I'm going pretty fast. Any questions? Okay. Solid waste 1802. Again, this fund may be subject to a redistribution by ordinance later on in 24. But the proposed appropriation is 452,000. Projected revenue was 464,000 from the Treasurer's Office. Carryover from the Treasurer's Office is 673,000 for a total revenue of 1.137 million and a holdback of 113,726, making available revenue for proposed appropriations at 1.023 million. That leaves a unappropriated amount of 684,392 for solid waste fund 1802. The library, the proposed appropriation was 200, this is fund 3008 of the library. The proposed appropriation was 260,000. The projected revenue was 212, carryover 390,000. Total revenue at 602,000 with no holdback. Available revenue is 602.8 thousand, and that leaves in the 3008 fund 342,803. The board, other than employee compensation, referred that entire budget to the library. I mean, the committee referred that entire budget to the library board. That's pretty much it, sir.
Well, thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to thank the Budget Committee members, Justice Claudia Brigham, Justice Rick White, Justice Roland Hutchins, and Justice John Reed. As I said, we had 12 meetings with various departments. Special thanks from Justice John Reed for his accurate spreadsheets and attentiveness to detail. We found with the 5-member board that if there was a divided opinion, we would vote on it and that would resolve the problem, resolve the question. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
There was 2 questions brought up. One was the separation from 911 with the 5%. There was 2022 and 2023. I helped Dwayne put together the budget forecast for the fire departments. It clearly took the gross 13% and 5% of it into 30/20, which is why that's gotten changed is beyond me. There's some confusion, there was a misunderstanding. It was very clear in the budget before. What's bothering me right now, no carryover for county road department, for the sales tax. Every year, the county has the sales tax for fire departments. They have to pay their insurance in January. And what we agreed to at the meeting I was at was if that question came up, that was for insurance in January. It shows no carryover. So now they're gonna come to January. The problem I'm having with this, I see a lot of carryover money that it's all lumped into one fund. And some of these funds are not, they can't be divided amongst all of them. They're special funds. And it concerns me because there's appears to be some misunderstanding. When I saw this, I saw like 14 or 14 million. I'm seriously concerned about the revenue in the budget. We all know this, in the budget process. You can do a budget 4 different ways. The goal is to try to accurately reflect the projected revenue versus your spending. That's why in the past, the state and the financial manual recommends 5-year average. I see things now that concerns me because now I can't tell. And I see fire department with no carryover. And so come January 1st or in the month of January, we always told them they would get that percentage and left in there for their insurance.
Yes, please.
So at the budget meetings, I passed out 5 years of, what we did is we looked at historicals on the apprentice system, which is our old software. And I took actual numbers and I took 5 years, so all the way back to 2019. And I used all those 5 years and went fund by fund and line and revenue code by revenue code. I looked at trends. I looked at what had been brought in and used that to compile the projections. Now, the reason why the fire department was projected at a 0% carryover is because Melissa and I have been working on trying to get the bills paid before the end of the year so that we could have a zero balance starting forward. If there is a carryover, it's only going to be around $15,000. But we projected it at the 0 because the plan was we were working towards paying those before the end of the year so we could start the year completely fresh.
Thank you.
If you have what the projected revenue is and you don't have what the appropriations are, you don't know.
She's stating they're going to take care of the insurance before the year is done.
The fire departments always say, and we explain to them, you explain it, it's your insurance money, it's gonna come up January. So when they divide their share, equal share, they would always have a $20,000 year-end carryover there. They explain that. I don't see that. I'm concerned because what I'm looking at now is one account, 1,000. That's all the county general that has total revenue almost $5.5 million. And yet last year we had a funds that were used this year to pay last year's bills. We had for whatever reason, last year's bills weren't paid and they came out of this year's income. And so now it seems to erode that carryover. I'm concerned.
Okay. Thank
I
you,
wish
sir.
I would have had this. This is first I got this, and now we look at it and try to piece it together and compare it to prior years, so I can get a comfortable understanding. Is the projected revenue realistic? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Justice Reed, do you have a slide that is similar to page 54 on the thing that has the total budget summary?
Say it again, please.
Do you have a slide that's similar to page 54 on the Quorum court packet that has the total budget summary?
In the packet,
I'm just trying to figure out, it says that the projected revenue is 15.2 million, but our proposed budget is 16 million. Is that accurate? We're
Yes.
proposing to spend 800,000 more than we're bringing in.
Yes, sir.
This here was our comptroller put in the shortfalls on the top of the funds. Most of us with the binders have an updated version of this. And if you want one, I'll give you one after the meeting.
Okay, I guess, just for curiosity's sake, is our proposed budget closer to our proposed revenue?
No. Say it again, but
On this sheet, it says that our proposed revenue, our projected revenue is 15.2 million, but our proposed budget is 16 million. It seems like an extra 800.
No, as he was saying, the comptroller added the shortfalls in there. Our proposed revenue, 16.2 for the treasurer's office, and our proposed budget for 24 is 11.9.
Okay, so this data is just wrong.
Yes, sir.
Let's have one other quick one. In Article 8, what is the emergency? Article 8 of the ordinance?
Article 8 of the ordinance. It has to be done by the end of the year. So by doing an emergency bill, which would be the 6th to carry it through, gives us a working budget for the end of the year, which is mandated by the state of Arkansas.
Thanks, Rick.
You're welcome. Yes, sir.
Judge, to belay some of Justice Schrimmer's concerns, do you want to address the 5% versus?
We've done that lead with the treasurer's office. I believe we put together a good budget. I believe you guys put some time in. I believe that those concerns are been addressed and be addressed going further. I believe that we have been conservative with our numbers, and I trust what you all came up with for the past 2 months.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
One quick one. This ordinance has the fourth line down says January 1st, 2023, ending in December 31st, 2024. I just want to point that out, that it's changed, I believe, and the ordinance is in the book, but this ordinance here has got this year's date on January 1st. Let's start.
What page are you on, sir?
48.
Oh, I see it. So, okay. It's been corrected already?
My understanding is that the budget that will be passed tonight, that is in your books, has the correct dates.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, yes, sir.
comment on the meeting in January, last January or last February, I had a proposed budget to change the solid waste distribution of sales tax in the fire department. And I was asked to defer that until the end of this year, and I agreed to. There will be an ordinance in the January meeting to readjust. I'm not against solid waste, but if you look at the revenue, it's bringing in more than it's paying out. Fire departments don't have that luxury. And the agreement was to make it fair so that the fire departments, they got 1% 4 or 5 years ago to make it fair to those areas that have the revenue. It just, the question came up. Some of the funds that people think they're their own personal fund, they're not. That's our money, your money. And so I just wanted to make it equal because the fire departments are having to absorb now additional costs on their own. No other department's doing that. So I said it will be in the January meeting, will be an ordinance to modify. I heard about different other departments. I have no problem with that. Fire department and solid waste, I'm going to propose a change.
All right.
And
And I too, appreciate our firefighters, but as we discussed in that budget committee meeting, I'm going to let the fire chiefs and their boards come together for their fire chiefs meeting. So I will not be addressing any ordinances for a sales tax change until the fire chiefs come back to me with what they
And
want to
there
do.
was an ordinance passed, it's 6 years ago, that the fire departments prepared their budget and submitted it. There's an ordinance on record. And the record, the ordinance that I've worked with the fire departments with never seems to get, I saw it the last 2 years, was $81,000. And yet they had like 150,000 total revenue set in the account. So my thought is now is to make it more fair.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you, sir.
Any further discussion? We are now going to vote to adopt the budget. Justice Van Kuren?
No.
Justice White?
No.
Justice Reed?
Yes.
Justice Hutchings?
Yes.
Justice Shipman?
No.
Justice Brigham?
No.
Justice Welland?
Yes.
Justice Scrimmett?
No.
Justice Nichols?
No.
Motion to adopt failed.
I'm beyond confused.
Ordinance number 2023-143. This is transfer funds, from county general to the Office of Emergency Management Safety Fund in the amount of $27,750 for the placement of the generator at the Office of Emergency Management building.
Second.
Any discussion? Justice White?
No.
Justice Reed?
Yes.
Justice Hutchings?
Yes.
Justice Shipman?
Yes.
Justice Brigham?
Yes.
Justice Welland?
Yes.
Justice Scrimmett?
Yes.
Justice Nichols?
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren?
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 2023-144. This is an ARPA request from the from the White River Baptist Association Fund for the recent purchase of outreach trailer for the unit of the White River Baptist Disaster Relief Fund, which will be useful to the residents and disaster volunteers in Marion County. This is in the amount of $75,000.
Second.
Any discussion? Justice Reed?
Yes.
Justice Hutchings?
Yes.
Justice Shipman?
Yes.
Justice Brigham? Yes. Justice Welland?
Yes.
Justice Scrimmett?
Yes.
Justice Nichols?
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren?
Yes.
Justice White? Thank you. Ordinance 2023-145. This is also an ARPA request from the Pallet Art League Fund. And it's in the amount of $48,000 to develop and expand additional programs for veterans, after school and summer programs at the league.
Second.
Justice Hutchings?
Yes.
Sorry, is there any discussion? Justice Shipman?
Yes.
Justice Brigham?
Yes.
Justice Welland?
Yes.
Justice Scrimmett?
Yes.
Justice Nichols?
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren?
Yes.
Justice White?
Yes.
Justice Reed?
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 2023-146, again, this is an ARPA request. The Marion County 4-H members to participate in programs offered at the district, state, and national levels. This is in the amount of $3,000.
Second.
Justice Shipman?
Yes.
Justice Brigham?
Yes.
Justice Wellen?
Yes.
Justice Scrima?
Yes.
Justice Nichols?
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren?
Yes.
Justice White?
Yes.
Justice Reed?
Yes.
Justice Hutchins?
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 2023-147, this is a reimbursement for the mileage incurred in the clerk's office in the amount of $136.44 for the purpose of election training. And it just goes from county general, that's where it was appropriated to, or that's where it was deposited, and it's appropriating it to the proper line item for elections.
Motion.
Justice Brigham?
Yes.
Justice Wellen?
Yes.
Justice Scrima?
Yes.
Justice Nichols?
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren?
Yes.
Justice White? Justice Reed?
Yes.
Justice Hutchins?
Yes.
Justice Shipman?
Yes.
Thank you. Judge, that's all I've got.
I'm gathering myself, I'm sorry. Does anybody have anything else they would like to add to this Quorum board meeting? Well, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion. Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?